All right, we're going to take a look at scope. Scope is basically the visibility of your variables. So we're going to take a look at where the compiler first looks for a variable, where it looks for a variable next, and so on and so on. So let's go ahead and run our code. All right, so we start off at func main, and we're going to be printing off a variable named pet. Now, the compiler is first going to look for this variable inside the current block, which is the area surrounded by the curly braces, and it's going to look inside there, but above where we called for that variable. So as you can see, we don't have a variable named pet here, so it's going to look outside of this current block, and we're going to find it here at the package level. We have a variable named pet, and it has the value goldfish. So that's what gets printed off to the screen. Now, the second time we look for that variable, it's going to go ahead and look inside the current block and above where we called it, and it's going to find it here. So we have a variable named pet. It has the value dog. Dog gets inserted, and it gets printed to the screen. So as you can see, we have actually two different variables holding two different values. This is called shadowing. So this variable is just more particular to this, more specific to this block. So once it finds a variable named pet, finds it here in the local block, it's not going to even bother looking outside to the package, package level. So let's take this a little bit further, and we're going to run our print pet function, which we have declared up here. All right. So in this function, we are again printing the variable pet two different times. So up here, we're looking for the variable pet, and just like in func main, it's looking inside the current block and above, doesn't find it, looks outside of that block, and we find it here. It's goldfish. That gets printed to the screen. And then on the second one, it's also again looking inside the current block and above, finds it here, and it prints the value bird. And you can even have a block, just a block of code inside, by itself. It doesn't even need to be part of a function. So this has its own scope, and this is its own local block. So here, let's go ahead and run that. Okay, so here, when it gets down to this section of code, it's going to look for the variable pet. It's not going to find it, above here in the current block. So it's going to look outside to the next immediate block, and that is the func main block. As you can see, we have a variable named pet. It gets inserted, and it gets printed down here. So that's why that one is dog. And on the second one, same thing. Sorry for the redundancy, looking above itself inside the current block. It does find a variable named pet, and it's the value bird, so bird gets printed. So let's say we want to go ahead and get a variable out of another package. So what we've done here is we have a pets package, and we want to pull the pet3 variable out of that package. This is very similar to like where we look inside the thumped package and pull a function out. This one we're just pulling a variable out. Now this still needs to be imported. So let's go ahead and make sure that's imported. As you can see, this one is also in our Go Basics folder. So, and here it is. Here's our package, pets, and that's in my workspace and inside our source folder in the Go Basics and the pets package. So as you can see, we have the package we've been working in, which is scope, and pets is in the same folder. We just tell it out to get there. So it's going to go ahead and import that. We have this file right here, which does have a variable, pet3 with a value saved to it. So let's see if that runs. All right, and it prints. We get the value ferret. Now, looking at this, we told it where the pets package was, so it can look inside and grab that variable. This one here is not going to run because, as you can see here, this one's a little bit different. Now, this one has a capital P and this one has a lowercase p. So to tell the compiler what things you want visible outside of its current package, you would go ahead and give it a capital P. So this one does not have that. This should not get exported. It should not be visible to anything outside. And let's make sure, okay, we got that one uncommented. All right, cannot refer to unexported pets.pet2. And since it is not capitalized, it is not exported. So let's go ahead and fix that. Go ahead and fix that. There it goes. So we look inside the pets package. We find a variable pet2 is a value cat, and we insert that here and print it to the terminal. All right. I hope that was helpful. It can kind of seem like a little bit confusing having several different variables of the same name, but being so many variable names get used a lot, it is nice to have one, to a particular block. That way you don't have to get so wild with the naming conventions. But anyway, I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.